Good afternoon, Jets Nation. Welcome to the Jude Jets Show, and today we're going to be talking about David Bakhtiari. So without any hesitation, let's go ahead and get it started. So over the last 24 hours, the David Bakhtiari to the New York Jets talk has really started to heat up. It all started when Kurt Being Kirk, a former teammate of Aaron Rodgers, was on the Up and Adams show. Obviously, he was asked about the man himself, and they got on the topic of who the next Green Bay Packer to the New York Jet was going to be. And he said his hot take is that David Bakhtiari would be the next Packer to join the Jets. He said it might not happen this year, might not happen next year, but at some point it will happen. And then this morning, Outkick's Armando Salguero reported that the Jets have discussed in passing the idea of trading for Packers left tackle David Bakhtiari. He also adds that Aaron Rodgers and Bakhtiari have had discussions about him joining the New York Jets this offseason, and he also added that the New York Jets would give up a third-round pick if their left tackle need is still dire. And that last part is interesting because it sounds like we wouldn't be giving up more than a third-round pick for Bakhtiari, and the last part is still dire. It sounds like the New York Jets really want to let the offensive tackle situation play out and see how they look with Dwayne Brown on the offensive line until they go out and spend a bunch of money and spend a lot of assets on David Bakhtiari. I mean, this entire offseason, this coaching staff has been preaching about Dwayne Brown, and he honestly wasn't a terrible tackle last year, played on a broken rotator cuff. Now that he has that fixed, hopefully he's going to be a lot better. That's the type of thing we've been hearing this offseason, and it's going to be interesting to see whether or not if that's true or not. But he's still on the PUP list. We still don't have him back. Hopefully he's activated before week 1, and if we get to see him during training camp, how he looks with this first-team offensive line unit will be interesting. And really what we've heard from Aaron Rodgers and Robert Saleh and all of these press conferences is that they're not super concerned about the offensive line. I mean, yeah, Robert Saleh was, cussing them out and ranting to the offensive line during the last episode of Hard Knocks, but it sounds like we still have time. There's basically a month until the season starts. We have time to figure this out. Aaron Rodgers in his press conference today was like, no need to stress about it. They still have time. Dwayne Brown's not even out there. Mekhi Becton's just starting to work with the first team. Our best players aren't even playing on the offensive tackle side yet. We're going to let those guys get in there and see what stuff happens. And then by the trade deadline, if the offensive tackle is still a bad position on the roster, which it very well might be, then I think the New York Jets and Packers are going to start to engage in those trade talks for Bakhtiari, especially if Green Bay is struggling at the trade deadline. Personally, I really don't make too much out of this Bakhtiari stuff right now. If the move does happen, I don't think it would be before week 1. Most likely would be around the deadline. And another reason I say that is because whenever Aaron Rodgers was, asked about his $35 million pay cut and why he took it, he said, well, so we could make moves to make this team better. Obviously, we signed Dalvin Cook, but he also said teams make moves at the deadline. That's going to cost money. And with him having those discussions with Bakhtiari, could have been discussed, a move at the deadline might happen. You never know. But I just really don't think this is actually going to happen. Fun to talk about, fun to think about, but the logistics of it all, aren't sounding great. But if it does happen, definitely think it would be done at the deadline. But nonetheless, what do you guys think about all of this? Let me know down below. And I'm your host, Jude, signing off for now. See you guys later. Peace.